Hey Internet, Eric here. We're going to go back to the 80s tonight, and I'm going to discuss a film that spawned soon-to-be 7 films. Came out in 1988, cut to the chase. I'm talking Child's Play tonight. Child's Play was directed by Tom Holland, starring Catherine Hicks and Chris Sarandon, Brad Dourif, and Alex Vincent. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I do happen to discuss plot spoilers and specific scenes, but that's just how I talk movies. Alright, if you haven't seen Child's Play, or you have never even heard of Child's Play for some odd reason, Child's Play is about Catherine Hicks, single mother living in Chicago, taking care of her 6 to 8 year old son Andy, played by Alex Vincent. It's his birthday. All he wants for his birthday is a good guy doll. And good guy doll, he doesn't look this menacing. He's basically a redheaded Cabbage Patch Kid who talks on command. And that's all Andy wants for his birthday. Well, we find out that his good guy doll is possessed by the soul of the Lakeshore Strangler, a serial killer in Chicago named Charles Lee Ray. Voodoo practicer transferred his soul into the body of a doll on the night of his death, and the basic rest of the movie is Andy and his mother try to survive Chucky wanting to transfer his soul out of the doll and into Andy. While police detective Chris Sarandon is trying to save them. Alright. Wow. Man. Is there anything scarier or creepier than a child's doll from the 80s? The answer is no. And that was the perfect idea for this film. Because if you look at Cabbage Patch dolls, they're fucking creepy as hell. My Buddy dolls. Creepy as hell. So, what is creepier than that? One of those creepy dolls coming after you. So this was written by Don Mancini. He wrote all of the films. And, he really hit the ball out of the park with this one. First off, let's talk about Catherine Hicks. Very, very likable. Very sweet. Pretty. You believe her as the single mom raising this child. From the beginning of this film to the end of this film, all she cares about is her child's safety. Every time, she's got Andy on her mind. And that's great to see. I love her performance when she is with Andy. They have a great rapport. She's very sweet and very loving. When she's with Chris Sarandon, when she's trying to convince him that Chucky is alive. And of course, he's not believing her, and her frustration comes out. You believe that. You believe her fear when she's, being stalked by Chucky. And great performance by Catherine Hicks. Chris Sarandon, also very good. Very serious when he needs to be serious. Very caring when he cares about the safety of Andy and his mom. Great chemistry. All these actors have great chemistry. Alex Vincent, who plays Andy, has great chemistry with, Catherine Hicks. Lights just dimmed for some reason. Overall, I hate kid actors. I always hate kid actors, First one comes to mind is like Jake Lloyd from Phantom Menace, but Alex Vincent is very decent here. He's very likable. He's very sweet. You buy a lot of his emotions, when he's being sweet, when he's being goofy, when he's being caring, when he's being innocent, talking to Chucky. And of course, he has these conversations with Chucky that only he can hear. And, you buy that. He's really good. There's a couple scenes when he's being stalked by Chucky and he's crying that aren't very believable, and I'll talk about one scene in a second. But overall, Alex Vincent, really, really good. Her name is not here on the back, but the actress who plays Maggie is the best friend of Catherine Hicks. and the eventual babysitter of Andy. Super comic relief, like not over the top, like goofy, but she's sarcastic, very likable. So the acting here is fantastic, and then we're gonna get to Brad Dourif. Now, Brad Dourif is mainly known for the voice of Chucky, and he's great too. The anger, the frustration, the violence, the foul language. He's very intimidating. Like, if you just heard this man's voice only, like say he was yelling at you on the phone, you'd piss your pants in terror. But in the very beginning of this, we get to see him in an action sequence with Chris Sarandon chasing him down the streets of Chicago. And this film was really filmed in Chicago, which was cool. My buddy Roger at Channel Dawnstar, who I mentioned a few times, he has this series called Defending My Collection. And he's discussed his Blu-ray collection, and it's all alphabetical. Check out his video on the movies that start with C. And he discusses Child's Play, and he talks about, I think, how he was working somewhere, and across the street from where he was working, he saw the filming of Child's Play. So that's really neat. Like I said, check out that video. But I really like the scene where Brad Dourif is being chased by Chris Sarandon, and Chris Sarandon shoots Brad Dourif, and Brad Dourif's partner gets away, and you see this fear in him, and he doesn't know what he's going to do, so he sneaks into this toy store, and he's going to transfer his soul into the doll. So he goes from scared to, then he knows that Chris Sarandon is in the room, or in the building with him. He goes from scared to rage, and perfect. Love it. I love that whole scene when they're in the toy store, when he's shot and he's dying, and he realizes it. He literally grabs his, sees he's shot, and he says, "Oh God, I'm dying." Falls down as he's transferring his soul into the doll. The lighting effect is really creepy. The echo in his voice when he's doing the voodoo chant, really good. The whole scene is great, and then of course the lightning effect that strikes the store and throws Chris Sarandon 20 feet. Really good. So overall, really great performances. The animatronics for a 1988 movie. The Chucky doll was created by David Kirshner and designed by Kevin Yeager. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything other than some Nightmare on Elm Street films that Kevin Yeager has been involved in. But just Google their names, and they're big in the horror industry. Their animatronics with Chucky, 1988, still hold up to this day. They're very great. They're very believable. They're very, his movements are very slick. I like it, especially like the facial movements. When he gets pissed and his brow goes down, and when he snarls and you see his teeth, his eyes, just have that evil look. Fantastic. And there are some scenes where it's a little person, who I believe is also the little person, or one of the 8 little people that's in Howard the Duck. The directing by, or the editing, Tom Holland, it's hard to tell because it's really, really good. The animatronics still hold up to this day. Spoilers, there's a scene where Chucky is set on fire, so his flesh is melted off. But you still see the robotic, the doll body. So Chucky is walking around burnt to a crisp, and the animatronics still look fucking good. So good. The movie is over 25 years old, and the animatronics still hold up. So bravo. Score is really good. The score is very intense. There's a scene where Chucky is taking out Chris Sarandon, while Chris Sarandon is driving a car. Like he's strangling him from behind. Great action sequence. Very intense. He goes from strangling him to sticking a kitchen knife through the seat, from behind and then from under into his crotch. Very good. Very intense. The tension in this movie is very good. There's that scene. There's the scene where the babysitter thinks she hears something, and of course it's Chucky stalking her, and you know where this is gonna go. It's not really it's a spoiler, but it's not. You know how it's gonna end. bam, out of nowhere. Great jump scare, great editing, sound, fantastic stunt. That's all I will say. I won't say how exactly what happens. Fantastic stunt. So Tom Holland does great here. He's a great director in this film. What else? Some downsides. Not so much. I mean, I love Alex Vincent. I said is overall really good. I mentioned Chucky gets set on fire. Well, when he's thrown in the fireplace, and the good guy dolls have a line where they say they're your friend to the end. Well, Chucky looks up at Andy and he says, "We're friends to the end, remember?" And then Andy lights the match, and in a horrible delivery of dialogue, he says, "This is the end, friend." Don't like it. Garbage. But overall, when he's set on fire, that's a little person breaking out of the fireplace and running onto the couch and stuff. Fantastic job. Fantastic stunt. I really liked it. There's a little bit of comedy in this. One of my favorite bits is when Chucky is pretending to be a doll, and he's in this, elevator, and an old couple gets off, and one of the old lady looks back and looks at Chucky and says, "What an ugly doll." And then you just see Chucky going up in the elevator, and you just hear a, "Fuck you." That's perfect. I mentioned action sequences. That was a great stunt. There's some great stunts with the Chris Sarandon Chucky scene. There's a home explosion in this movie that I won't talk about. Really good. There's so much that's good about this film. And yes, you're wondering, why don't you, is a killer doll, why don't you just throw him on the ground and step on him? The way the animatronics are, you believe, like between the editing between the animatronics and the editing between the little person, you believe that this thing is alive, that it has some strength to it, it has some life to it, and it's scary. I really like it. One of my favorite scenes is when Chucky goes back to meet his buddy John, and John is the one. My can made a noise. John is the one that taught him voodoo, that taught him how to transfer his soul, and he's wondering what he's got to do to get out of this doll's body. He finds John's voodoo doll, and he tortures John with it. And man, it makes me cringe. Like, he breaks the legs and the arms of the voodoo doll, and you see John's arms and legs break at horrible angles. And between seeing that effect and the look of pain and anguish on the actor's face, fantastic. Another powerful, uneasy scene to watch. So basically, you have this goofy concept, a killer doll going after a little boy, but you have some uneasiness in this, and that scene with the voodoo doll is great. And I love the attention to detail in this. Like, if you see here, right here, Chucky's got a burn on his cheek. Well, in that scene where he's chasing down Chris Sarandon, Chris gets Chucky to go away because he hits the cigarette lighter and he puts it on Chucky's face. Well, when he pulls it off Chucky's face, you see the melted plastic. So I love the attention to detail. The continuity is really great in this, because sometimes you see films where someone's cut and then they're running and they're not cut anymore. Well, I love how Catherine Hicks gets bit in the arm, and then later she's running away, like 2 minutes later, and it's a drastic cut. And you see, she's still got the bite mark on her arm. Love the attention to detail. Yeah. Child's Play. Highly, highly recommend. The first of 7 films. The 7th film is coming out soon. Definitely the best of the series. It did get a little tedious after a while, and then it took a ride into left field. But you can't deny how great Child's Play is for a good, not really cheesy 80s slasher film. I mean, it's cheesy because it's a killer fucking doll. But you got great performances by all the actors involved. Fantastic animatronics. This doll. The animatronics on this doll is fucking incredible. Um, excuse me. Great score, great action sequences, great tension, great score. I said great score. Overall, yeah. I can't, other than a couple scenes where Alex Vincent is just kind of, there's nothing there. This film is fantastic. And you can feel how dangerous and dirty Chicago was in 1988. It's gotten a lot worse now, but Catherine Hicks finds the Chucky doll from a peddler, and he's just disgusting. Looks like you smell him through the TV, rotten teeth and stuff like that, and you're just like, gross. Well, later, when she is trying to find out everything about Chucky, she goes back and meets the peddler, and it's late at night, and he wants some stuff for information. He throws her on a car. I'm like, wow, you feel the danger in that scene. And it's really good because of the scared performance of Catherine Hicks and the menacing performance of the guy playing the homeless man. So once again, you got a fucking guy playing a homeless man, and it's a great performance. So all around, I highly, highly, highly recommend the original 1988 Child's Play. Tom Holland, I will forgive you for the Langoliers because you made Child's Play. And I say that in all honesty. If you have not seen Child's Play for some reason, I hope I have convinced you to go see it. Because again, what's creepier than a movie? What a killer Cabbage Patch doll. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, click the bell, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell the homeless guy selling Chucky dolls, get some Wi-Fi, check me out. If you have any suggestions or comments, just comment below. Let me know what you think of this movie or anything else that I have reviewed. I love the interaction with the people who do decide to interact. Check out my playlist. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel of what I've done before, but I've got everything in playlists. Check out Child's Play. I will get to the rest of the series eventually, along with the rest of the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween and all that good stuff. I got some new ideas on the horizon. I mentioned Roger at Channel Dawnstar. We're going to try to start doing movie commentaries where you push play on the movie and we give our thoughts while you watch along with us. Cartoon commentaries are coming back. I had a copyright strike for Gilligan's Planet, of all fucking things. But we're going to get back on those. But yeah, I will say cheers. And I will be your friend to the end. Unless you piss me off.